In this edition of Careers That Matter, I'm joined by Jason Morehouse of HiBoop. Jason, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So two things. What's your role with HiBoop, and what exactly is HiBoop?
Yeah, so I'm the founder and CEO. Small team, 6 people or something. Sorry, the other question?
Well, what exactly is HiBoop?
Oh, HiBoop. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry. HiBoop's a advanced diagnostic tool for mental health assessments to increase the time that our care providers are doing assessments so that people can get help quicker should they be diagnosed. We don't do diagnosis, we do the assessments.
So, as the CEO,
Yeah.
what does your job look like? On a day-to-day basis, what are the things that you do?
So as CEO and founder of my last company, and was different. We raised, venture rounds, and I started it in my basement and was just passionate about what we were doing, and that evolves. You have a board, you have investors, you have lawyers and stuff like that. Right now it's just to make sure that the team that we have is aligned with what we're doing. And they were basically handpicked. So I knew what I needed for this stage.
So what kinds of functions are your team performing? Are they programmers or are they, yeah?
Yeah, we're a product company, not services. So we have a marketing person who helps spread the awareness. We have a product person who really just makes sure that our product is going in the right way. Operations is the nuts and bolts of what you need to do, pay people, that kind of stuff. And we have engineering, which is really building that product out. If I'm missing somebody, but I think that's about it.
So on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
what are the kinds of duties that you attend to?
So, right now, because we are early, we're just launching our pilot clinically. So I try to do more awareness or research to back up our thesis around it. And I 1000% trust that team to keep things moving if I'm off doing that.
I can imagine somebody who's watching this at the moment going, okay, Jason, what do you need to know to be able to start to put together a site like this that has assessment tools? From a technical perspective, what are the complexities of this?
I'm a product person, have been going all the way back, probably 20 years or something. So I understand technology, probably not as well as like I did, but from a technology perspective, and it's gotten a lot easier than when I started my last company. The engineering part is just finding good developers. The product part is finding passionate product people that build it. And the awareness is equally finding the right people in charge of your brand. I'm not a micromanager. I hated it when it was happened to me, so I just don't do it.
You still have to know what every aspect of your company is about so that you are choosing the right people to take on those different responsibilities.
There's the fundamentals. You got to know your finances, your business plan, your kind of go to market. Like if companies just die on the vine because they don't either have a product fit or a market fit, or they have the wrong business model. So I spent some time there, as well as with the team.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about your career.
Sure.
Where'd you go to high school?
Cardinal Newman in Scarborough.
All right. And did you graduate from high school going, I know what I want to do?
I didn't graduate.
Oh, so you didn't even graduate?
No.
So what'd you do?
I worked on Bay Street for like a stockbroker firm. I didn't fit in the system. I don't learn the same way that others do, and I was kind of miserable. So I was like going to take a break from school,
High school.
high school, and then that's it. That's my last. I have no diploma. I did not go to university, college. This is all life.
So what did you do on Bay Street? And how on earth did you manage to talk your way into doing that when you're still a teenager?
It was a stockbroker firm that they needed kind of customer support and stuff. So I was like, okay, that sounds better than maths.
So you did that for a while. Where'd you go next?
Yeah, I moved around a little bit, but I guess the next leap was starting in a early internet provider in Toronto, and started pretty early. I was on the phones, answering questions from customers who couldn't figure out their computer or their internet, and then moved through that company on that same kind of. So I taught myself programming. I moved into their network team, and it was a lot of fun. It was an early company, and then they got acquired. That's when I left.
And so a question that I have is, you're working for this firm on Bay Street.
Yeah.
How important was it that you did that aligned you to put you in place with this early internet service provider company?
Yeah, well, both were on Bay Street, oddly enough. Like, I wish I had the answer. I think it's just a general, if you meet a lot of entrepreneurs, there's just, before they're like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, which I've never really identified with, but there is something inherent that is driving that person. So from early on and all the way through to either successful or unsuccessful ventures, and that was all part of it. And it's also part of being young. I mean, my son's had 5 different jobs. So.
Right. So you work your way through on that one. Does that lead you to another internet or tech company?
Yeah. Yes. So technology for me, especially not fitting into like the education system, was a way to create and not require, like, I taught myself programming horribly, but to feel like I'm doing something, and so that evolution is just pretty much, the same all the way through. Is that I like to create. I like to, whatever, innovation's like an overused word, but find problems, solve them. That gives me purpose.
So your early experiences, that must have helped you to understand, okay, this is what it takes to put together a company, raise funds, promote it, and so on. At what point did you take the leap and say, okay, I'm going to start my own? And what was it?
Yeah, so I was at when we moved to New Zealand, I was picking fruit, and I was like, cannot pick another courgette. And then I found the tech company there, and worked with them for 4 years or so. And then we came back to Canada. I worked at another startup, but I just felt, this is not, there's people like, you want a paycheck, got it, understand, we all have bills and responsibilities, but for better or worse, I just was like, okay, now's the time. And, I'd spoken to my family, because we were like, I was really poor, but I was like, give me 6 months, and that turned into 12 years.
What was that company?
It was a company called Checkfront in Victoria.
And what did it do?
Or
what does it do?
Yeah, it's still there. Lots of people there. So the idea was to kind of empower small businesses within the things to do realm. So it's the whale watcher, it's the bungee jumping, it's the kayak rental company, because they had no real technology. I just got that from trying to book stuff on my own. They're like, send us a fax. So I knew there was a big, and their stories are amazing. Like the entrepreneurs, they'd previously lawyers or something, and now they're doing guided kayak tours in Up Island or something. So we started that, and that grew to over 5,000-6,000 customers that used us every day to manage their business, which was a lot of learning in there. But we ended up, well, when I stepped away, it was 120 employees, which is a whole other beast, by the way.
Yeah. Wow. And did that lead you to where you are now with HiBoop?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, interwoven in there for sure. But I was secure and like whatever, paid my mortgage and stuff like that. But it's also like I'm not gonna build birdhouses. Like so the day after I left, I started HiBoop.
So for somebody who might be a young person going, okay, Jason, you don't have the classic rise through the business world, and yet you rose through the business world. What would you tell them is a personality characteristic or trait that you have that has been important on your journey?
Yeah, well, stay in school. Like, that's very valuable. But that, like for me, it's just resilience. It's like we were in a travel company when COVID hit. So I had to every week tell the staff that things will be okay. Don't drink bleach or something. But that resiliency and the where am I going here? The understanding of whatever you want to do. There's nothing wrong with your decisions, assuming they're legal. So you find a good job, you maybe have a good mentor, you like the space, you want to build your own company. If you want to build your own company, that resilience has to be literally in your DNA.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of failure there, but the resilience is when things get tough, you have the capacity to think forward. Like whatever it might be, you can't get funding or there's some world events, and it's just go, don't ruin, everything around you. Don't put your family at risk but when it comes to young, it's like, well, you can always go back to that thing that you were at before you had this burning desire to do something.
Well, I agree. Thank you for giving us a little glimpse into your working world and your career path. Thank you very much.
Thank you.